For Makabucha Day, in the Buddha's time, there was no ceremony. The first Makabucha Day was after the Buddha's enlightenment. There was a meeting between the Buddha and his disciples. He laid down the way to spread the Dhamma. This is what is remembered about Makabucha. It is about the great assembly of disciples marked by the union of 4 factors. We've recited this since we were kids. There is another important event, the final full moon of the 3rd lunar month. That day, the Buddha decided to enter the final nirvana. Thus, this day is also the anniversary of said event. The first and final Makabucha days were 45 years apart. Shall we learn about the first Makabucha or the last? We all know about Makabucha. There is not much else to say about it. Who here doesn't know about Makabucha? Confess now, raise your hand. If you don't know, take a look on Google. A few of you don't know. Find it yourself. Westerners laugh with full enjoyment. The principles are not to sin, to keep wholesomeness, and to purify our hearts and minds. To abstain from unwholesome states, we have to be strong fighting defilements. We do immoral things because defilements take us over. We attack others because we are angry. We steal things because we are greedy. Defilements take over the mind and cause all sins. Defilements unable to manipulate our mind, we won't do anything wrong. We need mindfulness to not let defilement take us over. Whatever defilement arises in our heart, just know it is so. Know often. We will not sin. Our mind will be wholesome. Be mindful whenever defilement arises. When there is craving, and we have mindfulness, the craving disappears. We will not sin with no craving. In the moment of mindfulness, the mind is wholesome. When anger arises in the mind, and we have mindfulness, we will not sin out of anger. At that moment, the mind is wholesome. We can break moral codes and sin when there is a deluded mind. When there is mindfulness, the mind is decent. Unwholesome states will disappear. The mind is then wholesome. When the mind is wholesome, morality, samadhi, and wisdom get stronger. Be mindful of any stranger that arises in the mind. Let's see them. When defilements cannot manipulate the mind, we will easily keep morality. Westerners do not understand morality very well, but they can be good people in their way. They do not feel like having moral codes. Why do we need to have moral codes? It's just the ethics. Actually, moral codes cross religions and predate Buddhism. Westerners are interested in meditation. They have no idea about wisdom. Thai Buddhists remember moral codes. We know the word samadhi and wisdom, but do not practice it. Westerners like doing meditation. They think that meditation will make their lives better and suffer less. They misunderstand that meditation is the key to end suffering. Meditation is a temporary thing. No matter how skilled we are, the peace lasts just a little while. Sooner or later, the mind will become restless again. Meditation is like taking a pill. When sick, we take medicine. When the medicine loses effect, the symptoms return, and the cause of sickness remains. Meditation is only useful as a temporary measure. The mind is often scattered and not happy. Meditation can bring relief only for a while. Most people practice meditation incorrectly. Any meditation that has not mindfulness integrated is not correct samadhi. Many people are just sitting in a happy little daze. It is not peace. There is not mindfulness there. Some people get stressed from sitting. There is anger in the mind, or the mind is lost in delusion. There is not mindfulness. The defilements manipulate the mind. If we have mindfulness in practicing meditation, it will likely be correct. We learn here free of charge. Most people are too lazy to learn. We know it is good to learn Dhamma, but we do not practice. Who is thinking that Buddhism and meditation are good, but would rather do something else first? Westerners paid to come to this course. They are diligent to learn. Lots of people practice incorrect meditation. It is happy and calm, but lacks mindfulness. Or they brainwash themselves. Good types of meditation do not hypnotize the mind. The correct type of meditation is one with self-awareness. We pick a meditation object. If we pick the breath, be aware of the breathing. Be mindful that we are breathing. We will not be lost in a happy daze. Moving hands in a rhythmic pattern, we can achieve samadhi. If the mind holds its attention at the hand, that is concentration. It is not correct samadhi. Without mindfulness, it is not the correct type of samadhi. Even with mindfulness, if the mind is focusing at the hand, the mind can be peaceful, but we cannot achieve wisdom. There are two main groups of samadhi, the right one and the wrong one. The right one is integrated with mindfulness. The wrong one is without mindfulness, but with craving, anger, or delusion. Many people enjoy sitting meditation. When happy, the craving takes over the mind. They feel satisfied. They are addicted to meditation. Those addicted to meditation are irritable. They are easily irritated, like addicts, to the happiness from meditation when they close their eyes and ears. This meditation is not good samadhi. Some people get stressed during meditation. They are strongly forcing themselves. Some people sit and their neck and back hurt. Neck hurts, back hurts because of too much control. Anger comes in but they do not see it. Or the mind is busy, interested in things outside. The mind gets caught in delusion. The incorrect type of samadhi has no mindfulness, only defilements. There are two types of good samadhi. One is correctly staying with an object continuously without forcing it. This type of samadhi is called object contemplation. The mind is holding its attention to one object. Most Westerners practice only this type of meditation. They just hold attention to an object. Not only Westerners, but also most Thais practice incorrect meditation. Most people sit without mindfulness and cannot reach the state of object contemplation. How to get the correct first type of samadhi? The mind is holding its attention to one object. We have to find what object we feel happy with, what we like to be with, and we come back and be with it often. The chosen object must not tempt defilements. Some people are happy when cursing others. The mind will not be peaceful. Some people are happy with gambling or stock trading, but the mind is greedy and encourages defilements, not quality concentration. When the stock goes down, we feel awful. We will lack concentration. Gambling and stock trading are not good meditation objects. It has to be an object that does not tempt defilements. For example, repeating Buddho, Buddho, or knowing the breath does not encourage defilements. Buddho, or seeing the body breathing, does not tempt defilements. Watching others will create temptation, but watching ourselves will not. Looking at a beautiful woman, we like that. Desire arises. Looking at someone we dislike, anger arises. We have to pick the right meditation object. That's the secret to calmness meditation. We have to pick the right object. In 1959, when I was 7 years old, Master Lee taught me breathing mindfulness at Asokaram Temple. He taught me how to breathe. I like to practice by breathing. Some people do not like watching the breath. They are restless or stressed at watching the breath. I like breathing as it is relaxed and happy. My mind likes the breath. When the mind is happy and satisfied, it stays with the object. It is like picking a favorite dessert for a kid, attracting them to stay home. Like a naughty kid playing outside and won't come in. He's running around here and there. He's running around looking for happiness. But he is never satisfied, so he keeps running. The mind and that kid are alike. The mind runs around looking for happiness by watching something nice, runs around to listen to nice music, to smell nice smells, to taste good food, to get body contact, or to think. The mind always runs around. It runs around watching movies for a while, then it gets bored again. It is not satisfied, not full. Then it runs again, searching for other happiness. Listening to music, it is still not full. Eating good food, chatting with friends, and so on. It is looking for happiness all day long. The mind is always searching for something to be happy with through ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. It is never full, so it runs. Thus, we use happiness to attract it. If we like Buddho, then let's be with it. If we like the breath, let's be with it. Be aware of it, breathing out. Be aware of it, breathing in. The mind will not stray if happy with the breath. Soon the breath will get more and more shallow until it is at the tip of the nose. Then it turns into light. The mind will be bright. Then keep practicing. If losing mindfulness, we end up following the light and seeing ghosts, living in the past or the future, the mind will follow the light. But if there is mindfulness, the mind will be more and more peaceful. It will have contemplation on the light without intention. It will clearly perceive the light with peaceful joy. And at one point, the mind will enter jhana. If concentrating deeply, the body will disappear. All that's left is the mind with mindfulness. The whole world is gone, but there is still mindfulness. There is mindfulness even when the body disappears. It sounds hard, but it's not that hard. It is just knowing what object makes us happy and knowing it in a relaxed way. Not picking an object and then forcing the mind to stay with the object, we will not be peaceful in that way. A happy object for us with a happy disposition towards it. Happy plus happy, it gets really happy. The mind will be peaceful. It is written in the scriptures that happiness causes concentration. It is not our concentration that makes us happy. Actually, samadhi at a deeper, subtle level is equanimous. It is not happiness, but it is equanimous. To have a peaceful mind, we pick a meditation object, choosing the object that suits us. Some people are assigned by their master a short mantra. Different people use different objects. Venerable Buddha once assigned his newly ordained monk to chant Buddho, Buddho. The monk did that for a while, but he would think of his girlfriend before he became a monk. When he was with his girlfriend, he wanted to ordain. Once he ordained, he wanted to go back to her. Instead of chanting the word Buddho, Buddho, he chanted his girlfriend's name. He thought it was sinful to do that. Venerable Buddha allowed him to use his girlfriend's name as a mantra. He was happy using his girlfriend's name as a mantra. It worked for him. His mind entered deep concentration. But I don't know if he ended up disrobing from monkhood. So we have to pick an object that makes us happy and see that object in a relaxed way. That is the secret to making the mind peaceful. That's all. I don't usually allow young novice monks here. Some of them cannot sleep alone as they are scared of darkness. But this novice here is different. He is 15 years old. He wanted to ordain. He heard me talk about watching the breath in a relaxed way. He did so, watched the breath in a relaxed way. His body disappeared. Then there was light. He watched the light in a relaxed way. The world and the body disappear. All that was left was just the mind. What will happen if we get to that stage? In that moment, we get happiness and peace. When meditating up to the state the body disappears, all that is left is just the mind. We get another big prize from this. From that moment onwards, aggregates will be separated. it is very clear that the body and mind are separate aggregates. The body disappears and only the mind remains. Why is it easier for kids than adults? Kids are not pretending. I was able to do it since I was 7 years old. Peaceful and relaxed, no pretending. It is harder for adults as we practice with the desire to be peaceful. We hope to be peaceful. Desire causes suffering. The mind is not happy. We start meditation wanting to be at peace. This won't work. Kids hear about breath awareness, then they breathe out with awareness, breathe in with awareness. Kids don't think about what they'll get out of it. They just practice as told, not trying to get anything out of it. It is easier for kids than for adults. Adults are full of desires. People argue with me, if I'm not wanting or craving, why should I listen to Dhamma? That starts a debate. Then that's all we've got. Start practicing before we are elderly. When old, it is harder. But for those who are already old, you still have to practice. Step 1, we have to be happy. This is why I ask you to start with a smile. Smile and smile and smile. Smile from your heart. There was a flight attendant who ordained here. I asked him to smile. Then he smiled. He had that smile for the whole day. But that smile was not a real smile with happiness. It was a professional smile, that of an actor. It was so boring for me to watch movies. This was so even since I was a layman. The main actress was crying, but inside, her heart was laughing. It was funny. She was not as sad as she should have been. On the face was a smile, but the heart was tense. Just a smile on the face, but there was no happiness at all. We have to smile from the heart. Let's try it. Smile, a sweet smile, as if someone is telling us, I love you. Some say, that's impossible in this life. Can't you see when laughing your heart is relaxed? If you smile in a natural way, the heart will relax out of stress. With this relaxed heart, it is easy to do a peaceful meditation. If stressed, it is not possible. Thus, initially we have to be happy. The heart can be happy by chanting. If the heart is restless for the whole day, try chanting. Light incense, but not too often as it will cause cancer. Light incense. Light incense, but when I'm done, I put it outside. I only light it after paying respect to the triple gem. Then I put the incense outside. The heart is happy with the scent of flowers or incense. But if we light incense and think of ghosts, don't light them. It is not happy. Some people like to fish in the pond. We are happy when feeding the fish. When happy, don't stop there. It is time to be self-aware. Come back to our object of meditation with that happy heart. Some of us like to help others, give to charities, or volunteer. We are happy from doing so. When we are at home and going to do meditation, we are not feeding fish. Think of some nice things we have done to get started, like feeding stray dogs, doing generous acts. When thinking of those activities, we feel happy. We take that happy heart towards meditation practice. Firstly, we pick a proper meditation object that we like. Second, we know that meditation object with that happy heart. We will be peaceful easily, just a short while. Some masters can enter deep samadhi very quickly. Moggallana, the great disciple of the Buddha, could enter samadhi extremely quickly. In just a split second, he can enter and exit samadhi, just as quick as a snake bite. It is very easy to enter samadhi. We just have to know the secret. Be with the meditation object with happy feelings. Stay mindful while we do it. This is the first type of meditation. The second type of samadhi is the mind being a stable observer. True samadhi doesn't mean a stable mind. Samadhi means the quality of stability. Samadhi is an ability of the mind. It is not the mind itself. In order to make that ability arise, we rely on mindfulness of not stable minds. The mind that is not stable is the mind that is moving around to think, to see, to hear. Keep knowing the mind that moves out to do so. We used to chant Bhutto, Bhutto to get peace. Instead, we chant to know that the mind has moved out. Mind moves from Bhutto to something else. Or if we breathe awareness, we aren't aware of calmness. Only for the first type of samadhi, the mind stays calmly with the breath. For the second type, we are with the breath to see the mind move. Breathe and then know when the mind thinks. Know when the mind moves to the breath. Know when the mind goes elsewhere. Be aware of the mind moving here and there. If we keep practicing, we will start to see the mind move without intention. This is called mindfulness. Seeing it repeatedly, the mind will become very familiar. The mind precisely recollects phenomena. That's the cause of mindfulness. So breathe or Bhutto often and know when the mind moves. See repeatedly when the mind moves to see, to hear, to think. The mind moving will become very familiar. Then the mind moves and mindfulness arrives without intention. When mindfulness arises, the mind will not move and be stable on its own. This is a momentary samadhi. Some people practice like this often. The mind moves out and we know so. Like this again and again. Stable, moment to moment. And deep meditation can happen too. Some access concentration or some absorption levels. In order to practice the samadhi for the stability of the mind, we use the same meditation object that we are happy with. But this time, we do not meditate to be peaceful. When the mind moves out, we know it is so. The second type of samadhi will arise. The mind becomes the joyful knower. Without intention, it can see the changes of body and mind. This is called the walking path of wisdom. In order to gain wisdom into the truth, the mind has to be the stable observer, the second type of samadhi. Not just holding attention somewhere. We will not gain wisdom from there. Samadhi holds attention with an object causes only happiness. Samadhi with a stable observer, able to see the body and mind working, the mind is the observer, seeing happiness come and go, seeing defilements move, and just watching. With this type of samadhi, wisdom follows. Sometimes we hear that we should achieve concentration before wisdom. This is only partially true. Many types of samadhi that people do are not for wisdom. It is just for peace. Some even make us stupider than before. We have to practice. One samadhi for peace, one for the mind to become a stable observer. Seeing the mind moving out again and again, the stable observer will arise. We have to practice the samadhi for the stable observer. Some are doing samadhi by holding attention. Holding attention at the abdomen, this is not vipassana. That is just holding onto an object. Some folks' minds move all around and they don't see it. Some people just think. Thinking is not vipassana. Thinking is not wisdom. We have to practice both types of samadhi. If we can only do one type, we have to choose the second type. And if we enlighten that way, we will have done so in the dry and tiring way. If we can do both types of samadhi, that is happy. Our mind has power, we practice wisdom. When the mind gets tired, we can build the power by practicing the first type of samadhi. That's a nice practice, but if you can't do that, just practice wisdom. The mind can get calm on its own, but it'll be short. There isn't much power, but it will rest when it is getting too crazy. Let it rest and don't resist it. Time to eat. Today I covered the whole topic of samadhi. Monks, I invite you for the meal.